Across the vastness of known space, there exists a place where the galaxy's greatest military minds converge. The Kepler Institute stands as a monument to calculated warfare, a gleaming station orbiting a neutron star, where the most prestigious officer academies in the Galactic Coalition train their elite. Here, in lecture halls carved from crystalline durasteel, the doctrine of war is dissected, analyzed, and perfected. It was here, in a crowded amphitheater, that an impossible question was posed. Commander Vexthar, a Valerian with 4 arms and a mind sharpened by 17 wars, stood before the assembled academy. His chitinous frame cast long shadows across the holographic displays. Behind him, streaming through the transparasteel windows, was the slow burn of cosmic radiation, a reminder of the harsh universe these students would soon face. Gentlemen, ladies, and honored observers, he began, his voice resonating with the authority of 1,000 victories. Today we examine a species recently encountered in the Orion Reach, a biological oddity, a technological infant, a curiosity. The image materialized before them, Earth, a water-blue marble, unremarkable in every conceivable way. Humanity, he continued, we have compiled combat data from their early conflicts with the Krell separatists. Simple skirmishes, encounters that, frankly, should not merit our attention. He gestured with one of his upper limbs, and the hologram shifted to display a lone figure in combat armor. Yet their command has made a claim that troubles me. A claim so absurd, I felt compelled to bring it before this institution. He paused. The amphitheater held its breath. They assert that a single human soldier, one, can eliminate an average of 40 enemy combatants before being neutralized. Some sources suggest higher ratios. The Valerian High Command regards this as propaganda. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Species across 200 worlds chuckled at the notion. But Vexthar was not finished. Which is why I have summoned a human to demonstrate. Today you will not merely hear about these claims. You will witness them firsthand. The debate that followed was fierce and clinical. Impossible, declared a Carillion delegate, her crystalline form refracting the ambient light into fractured rainbows. We have biological superiority in every measurable category. Reaction time, sensory range, metabolic efficiency. A human soldier cannot possibly achieve such odds. Their technology is primitive, added a mechanic collective representative, voice synthesized through countless mechanical voices. Inferior armor, inadequate weaponry. Their energy output is negligible compared to our standards. An elderly Xanthian, nearly translucent, composed of something between liquid and solid, simply gestured dismissively. They are a young species, desperate, perhaps, making claims to seem more fearsome than they are. This is a propaganda exercise, nothing more. Vexthar listened to each argument. Each was, by conventional logic, irrefutable. The humans possessed no superhuman strength. Their sensory organs operated on the standard visible spectrum. Their weapons, while functional, relied on kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives, technologies the galaxy had superseded millennia ago. And yet, Vexthar said slowly, the data persists. 17 separate encounters. 42 combatants eliminated on average per human soldier engaged. Some instances reporting significantly higher counts. All verified by neutral observers. It must be error, the Carillion suggested. Miscounting. Confusion in battle conditions. Or, said a young cadet, her voice trembling slightly, we do not understand what we are measuring. The amphitheater fell silent. All eyes turned toward the cadet, a promising Valorian, barely past her first molt, with more questions than answers. Explain yourself, Vexthar commanded, but not unkindly. Commander, with respect. We count bodies. We measure efficiency by elimination rate per engagement. But we assume the combatant acts alone, in isolation, according to our strategic doctrine. What if humans do not? The chamber doors irised open, and a human stepped through. She was smaller than most of the alien species present, barely 2 meters tall, with fragile-looking skin and soft eyes. Her name was Sergeant Nova Chen, and she had volunteered for this demonstration knowing full well what it meant. "Sergeant," Vexdar gestured. "Your kill ratio. Explain it." Nova took a breath. Her gaze swept across the gathered intelligence of the galaxy. Then, she spoke. Not with arrogance, but with a clarity that seemed to make the entire room lean forward. "Commander, with respect, I don't think you're asking the right question. A kill ratio is just a number. But numbers don't tell you why a soldier survives. They don't tell you about the person next to you, the one who takes a bullet meant for you. They don't account for the decision to charge a position you should have abandoned. They don't measure the weight of 10,000 hours of training, of discipline, of choosing to be better than you were yesterday." She paused. "A human doesn't just fight for victory, sir. We fight for the ones beside us. That changes everything." Murmurs spread through the academy. This was not the explanation they expected. "But Sergeant," the Carillion interjected, "superior tactics and training exist throughout the galaxy. How is your training different?" Nova's expression softened slightly. "Because our training comes from survival. Our species evolved on a world full of predators, diseases, climate extremes. We learned to adapt, to cooperate, to find solutions we weren't trained for. We learned that giving up meant death, not just for us, but for everyone depending on us." She turned to face the holographic display, where combat footage began to play. Footage of human soldiers in an engagement against triple their numbers. "Watch," she said simply. The footage was brutal, honest. 3 human soldiers, 9 Krell warriors. Combat occurred in a collapsed research facility, confined spaces, inadequate cover, no tactical advantage. The first human moved into position, drawing fire. The second used the distraction to flank. The third waited. When the first soldier was hit, a searing plasma blast that should have ended it right there, the second soldier didn't retreat, didn't calculate odds. She moved, covered the wound, created a human shield while the first Marine kept fighting. The third soldier emerged, not to engage the enemy, but to extract their wounded teammate to better cover. It was not efficient. It was not optimal. By every measure of military science, it was tactically redundant. But it worked. The Krell were systematically eliminated not through superior firepower, but through something the Academy had never quite quantified: absolute refusal to surrender, combined with willingness to sacrifice. When a fourth Krell appeared, a flanking maneuver meant to be devastating, the first soldier, despite bleeding heavily, moved to intercept. Not to win, just to buy time, just to ensure her team could escape with their wounded. The amphitheater was silent. "That soldier," Nova said quietly, "was Corporal Marcus Webb. He survived that engagement. Just barely. That kill ratio you wanted? He and his team accounted for 9 enemy combatants, multiple objective completions, and 0 casualties, because they refused to leave anyone behind." The Xanthian spoke, his ancient voice barely above a whisper. "But surely the cost. They were wounded, depleted, vulnerable." "Yes," Nova said. "That's when they're most dangerous." Vexdar stepped forward. His chitinous face was unreadable, but something had shifted in his bearing. "I believe," he said slowly, "we have been asking the wrong question entirely." He gestured, and the holographic battlefield disappeared. In its place appeared a single statistic: the survival rate of human soldiers who fought in units versus those deployed alone. The difference was staggering. Together, humans survived at a rate 300% higher than the galactic average for individual soldiers. "The kill ratio," Vexdar continued, "is not a measure of individual prowess. It is a measure of something we have systematically underestimated in our military doctrine for 10,000 years. It is the power of a species that fights not to dominate, but to protect, to save, to ensure that when they close their eyes at night, everyone they promised to bring home is still alive." He looked at Nova directly. 40 enemy combatants. 1 human soldier. The answer, Sergeant, was not that your kind are super soldiers. It is something far more profound. It is that you are a species that transforms weakness into strength through connection. You are fragile, yes, but your bonds are unbreakable. And in a universe of individual warriors, a species willing to die for each other is unstoppable. The chamber erupted, not in laughter, but in realization. Vexthar raised all four arms for silence. We came to understand warfare through the lens of individual superiority. But you understand it as a sacred covenant between those who stand together. That is why you survive. That is why 40 enemy soldiers fall to one of yours. Not because of killing power, but because of why they kill, because of who they fight for. And for the first time, the Academy understood. Humanity's strength was not measured in weapons. In a galaxy of cold calculations and superior biology, humans had discovered something no amount of evolution could replicate. The unstoppable power of choosing to be stronger together than you could ever be alone. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If the story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars. Because among the infinite species of creation, only humanity fought not to win, but to save.